a second or two just to get up and running. I'm just gonna make sure I'm gonna open it on my phone.
All right, I see the live on Facebook popped up on my screen. Oh, and I just got the notification from Facebook. We're live.
So we are in and ready to go, live streaming on Facebook.
All right.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody to the Sassquad Trail Runners RunVenture Zoom series, episode number 5. We are here with Kelsey Miller. We're so excited to have her share with you her RunVenture story. She's going to be sharing about how she overcame depression by going from couch to ultra marathon. It's super exciting. Before Kelsey launches her story, I'm going to share just a little bit of background on Sassquad Trail Running, on the events that we do, and just who we are as a group. So we started hosting trail parties in 2018 all around the state of New Jersey. And obviously 2020 with the COVID-19 pandemic has changed our plans a little bit, but we're being creative. And if you've been staying connected with us, you know we've got a lot of stuff going on. July is actually shaping up to be probably the busiest month of the year for us. So we are going to continue our RunVenture Zoom series through the summer. We've had really positive feedback from you guys, both on social media, through email, and we're going to keep doing that. The next episode in 2 weeks, we have invited Vanessa Klein and Michael Wilson to join us. They just completed the Vol State 500K event. So they're going to be sharing their story with us. We have a few other runners who are lined up, including Michael Ortiz. He's going to be joining us. If you're familiar with him, he is currently doing his Game of Hundos RunVenture, where he's running 100 miles every weekend for 100 weeks, which is bananas. So we're so excited to have him come on, along with some other runners who are going to be joining us. Right now, we're actually hosting another semi-virtual race over at Stokes State Forest in Branchville, New Jersey, which is called the Blue Mountain Ultra Squatch. This is a new event in our series. You can sign up and go out to the park anytime in the next 2 weeks, and you can run. We have a 7-mile loop, and then we also have a 17-mile loop, which you can do once for the 17 or twice to get the ultra, which would be 34 miles. So we're using the marked trails that are already at Stokes, which they're phenomenally well marked. We've already had runners go out there, give us great feedback on how well the course is marked by the park. And I want to give a special shout out to our elder Squatch crowd, because we have 5 runners right now who are registered and they're over the age of 60. So shout out to the elder Squatches. You guys are awesome. I also heard from runner Christina Lude this morning, who was out there before dawn, and she did say that she saw a mama bear and 2 baby bears. So like we said on registration page, just be aware that Stokes State Forest is in Sussex County, New Jersey, which is known for having a little bit more wildlife than, say, Union County. Well, actually, there's a bear in making it around Union County, but South Mountain Reservation, there's a little bit more wildlife going on there. So for July, another really big event that we've been having going on, we are sponsoring ultra runner James Leitner, who has his nonprofit organization called Mission Clean Water, and he's on this 900 mile challenge where he's running 30 miles a day for 30 days to raise $30,000 for Mission Clean Water, which will provide clean drinking water for an all-girl school in Uganda. So tomorrow is his final day, ending on July 30th at Tamaqua Park in Westfield, New Jersey. So we're going to be out there with the Sassquad tent. We heard Sasquatch is also making an appearance. If you feel comfortable, we encourage you to come on out, bring your family. The local fire department, we heard, is bringing their fire trucks out, and they're going to do like a spray down for the kids, which is going to be pretty fun. We also continue to have our Magically Mythical race series online, which is totally virtual. Anybody can participate in that. And you can find that info on runsignup.com. And lastly, our final announcement, which I'm super excited to share, is the Squatch hunt is returning. So if you've been around with us last summer, you got connected with us. I know Kelsey participated. She rocked the Squatch hunt.
So excited for this one.
The Squatch hunt is coming back. It's going to be the last 2 weeks in August. And we actually have a 1-minute promo video that I'm going to try to share here. So I'm going to do a screen share. Actually, Kelsey, do you mind muting your Zoom?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of feedback. So I'm just going to see if we can do the, let's see. All right. Perfect. All right. Share screen. Squatch on promo. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So if that doesn't get you pumped up for the Squatch hunt, I don't know what will. But that's the last 2 weeks in August. We hope you can join us. We're going to put out some more information about that in the next week. So without further ado, the moment you've been waiting for while you're on the Zoom, tuning in on Facebook Live, we have, as I said before, Kelsey Miller is here joining us. I first met Kelsey last June when her registration came in for the Midnight Squatchapalooza. So actually, Kelsey, I didn't ask. Can I share this story? I didn't even ask you.
Oh, 100%. Just don't give me just don't tell them the domain name of my email,
okay. Okay. I will. Okay, that's fair enough. So when Kelsey's, with Ultra sign up, when you register, I get the confirmation email. So hers came in, and when I saw her email address, I thought, I have to be friends with this woman. I need to be friends with her. And I won't give you the domain name, but it was, I love cats so much it hurts. So I read that, and if you know me at all, you know I've got a cat. She's being dramatic in the background here. But I thought, man, this woman is going to be awesome and a lot of fun. And sure enough, she was. She came to the race in like a glitter skirt, I think she had on. It was awesome. And she crushed the race. And I've gotten to know Kelsey a little bit over the last year. She's become very plugged into our community and become just a really awesome member of our trail running group. And I'm so excited that she has shared her story with me. I knew that she went from couch to ultra, but I didn't know about her struggle with depression. And that was super inspiring to me. And I know it will be to you as well. So Kelsey's going to chat for the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. And you can see in the background, she is not at her house. Kelsey works as a pastry chef down in Asbury Park. And we were just chatting about it. She said work is swamped. So thankfully she was able to step away, and she's actually at her job right now. So after the chat, we're going to hit her with a little bit of rapid fire questions. And then we encourage you to drop your comments and questions on the Facebook comment section, and we'll do a live Q&A at the end. So Kelsey, the floor is yours. Take it away, my friend.
All right. I just want to apologize real fast if anything crazy happens or noises in the background. I'm hiding in the storage area right now at my job. So if anyone comes in yelling, it's a restaurant, cooks a hot tempo, that happens. So as Kim said, my name's Kelsey. I've only been running for about 2 years now. But so sorry, I lost my notes. It's been a whole thing today. So I started running as a way to lose weight, and all the weight I gained, I was in a really bad depressive spiral for about 2 years or so. I gained a lot of weight. I was miserable. I had a different job at the time, and I felt like my life was out of control, and I lived in a new area where I didn't really have any friends, and it wasn't the best time in my life, but I decided one day, February actually of 2018, to take control of my life. And I said, I don't want to live like this anymore. And I have to take control of something. And I couldn't change at the time where I lived. I couldn't change my job. So I said, one thing I can take control of is what I'm eating, my weight, and starting to exercise. I said, that's one thing that I can control in my life. And it's small steps, when you're getting out of it. So my first small step was, okay, I'm gonna start dieting. So obviously the whole counting calories, trying to eat healthy thing. And it was great. I felt my mood, change a little bit, and things started to get a little better until I hit a plateau with my weight loss. And I was like, oh my God, oh no, I'm, not eating. I'm like barely.
Hey, Kelsey, I'm just going to pause you for a second. It sounds like your audio cut out. Yeah, still can't hear you. That's all right. We'll troubleshoot a little bit. Take your time. You're good.
Let me try taking out my AirPods.
There you go. Now you're back.
The sound might suffer a little, but
You're good. You're good now. I can hear you great. Perfect.
Okay.
So just backtrack like 10 seconds or so.
Okay. Yeah. So I decided to step up my exercising. I figured that has to be the next step to losing weight. And at the time I had it in my head that, okay, you lose the weight, you will be happy. That was basically my mindset at the time, which I know wasn't the healthiest at the time, but it led into becoming healthier and happier. So it's a learning period, sometimes. But so I said, okay, I don't want to pay for a gym right now. What I'll do is I'll go outside and I'll run. Running's free. I was like, just put on a pair of sneakers. And little did I know that running is not free, as we all probably know by now. But so that's how I started running. And I did the Couch to 5K app. And I started in June of 2018, really doing the Couch to 5K app and trying to run like every other day or like 5 times a week. And so I quickly progressed through the app, and I was like, okay, let's sign up for 5K. I was like, I did the training. I was like, this is my reward for losing some more weight and finishing the app. So the first ever like 5K I even did was September 2018, and it was the Hoot, Waddle, and Stroll 5K down in Burlington County. All the money raised went to a wildlife refuge, which is right up my alley. And little did I know that it was a trail 5K, which is something
Oh no!
So that was not only my first race, it was my first trail race. And having a taste of trail running, I was like, oh, this is great.
So you didn't know at all when you went into the race that it was a trail race?
I didn't know until I got up to the finish line. Not the finish line, the start line, finish line. And I was like, where's the road? It was my mistake for not reading the race description. I was a little too gung-ho. But yeah, so it was my first race and my first trail race, and I just felt something really connect in me at that point. I was like, I've always loved nature and hiking and everything. I was like, so that's when I first like really felt like running might be like a thing for me. So After that, I kind of had a more ferocity for running. I was like, all right, let me sign up, for a half marathon. I was like, doing a half marathon in March. I was like, it's crazy. It's crazy, but let me do it. And so I ran the New York United half marathon in March. I was like, that was great, but I was like, I felt like it took me no time to train at all. And I was like, the race was over so quick. So I was like, I want a different challenge. I wanted to step up the challenge. So without ever doing like a marathon or anything like that, I was like, let me look into like some trail races. And that's when I ended up finding on Ultra sign up the Midnight Squatchapalooza. And at the time there was like a 3 hour, 6 hour, and 12 hour, correct?
Yep.
Kim?
Yep, that's right.
I was like, 3 hour might be like not enough of a challenge, because I was like, at that point, I ran a half marathon. It was 2 hours and like 15 minutes. So I was like, 3 hours isn't much of a stretch. And right. I was like, 12 hours is insane. Who in the world can ever run 12 hours? I was like, that's impossible. I'll never do that. So I decided to sign up in the middle for the 6 hours. And I figured it was a fun challenge to celebrate my 1 year of running. And at that point, like, my life started to change. I was working on moving back down to the area that I grew up in New Jersey, and like working on getting a different job, and I was reconnecting with like friends and family, and it was really a turning point in my life.
Yeah.
Where I said, okay, I could control this one thing, and I'm like thriving at this one thing. So that's when I started to take control of other things in my life. And running really was the catalyst that helped me with my mood, helped me with my anxiety. It really helped just being able to go out and run for like an hour or two and just walk through things in my mind. I had all these, chats and conversations of myself, and it really gave me a chance to look at my life, find, inner peace. And, running really has changed my life for the better. So as Kim said, the first time she met me was the Midnight Squatchapalooza 6 hours. And at the time I was like, I'll go in and I'll run as much as I can. I was like, I might not, be able to do the whole 6 hours, but I was like, let's see if I can get to like 4 or 5 hours. Right. And fun. And it turned out that the race was a total blast. Everyone was so friendly and welcoming, starting, at the check-in table with the amazing volunteers and meeting Kim, and just really meeting all the other racers and everything. Yeah. It was one of those things where I felt something click again. I said, okay, this is, the environment that I want to be in. I like this group of people. I was like, this is somewhere where I can like see myself. And the race was so much fun, and I ended up doing the full 6 hours. So, for someone who was only running a year, like I never ran like a marathon or anything before in my life. The most, I ran in a race was like a half marathon at the time. And that's when I realized, I was like, ultra running is the way for me. I was like, I still sign up for road races and they're fun, but if I had the choice of signing up for a road race or signing up for like a trail run or ultra, I'm going, trail run or ultra every time. So in that year since, I've really been trying to push myself and, see my limits and see how far I can run. And sometimes I beat myself up still, because it's part of the anxiety and depression. always going to be something that I'm going to have to deal with, and that I have to learn, you know, to recognize and, you know, walk through it. And so sometimes I beat myself up. I'm saying, you're so slow, you're not going to finish, you know, and all this really self-doubt and everything that, you know, I've really struggled with my whole life. But, you know, doing ultra running, it gave me a sense of control and accomplishment, and really helps me relax my head too after a run. But so in the year since I started ultra running, you know, I've attempted the Lenny Lenape Trail twice, which is a 36-mile trail going from
Love the Lenape Trail
to well, I don't know who is watching that knows or not. So
great.
yeah, it goes from Newark to Melbourne, and you know, you take a train from the end to the beginning, and you gotta run all the way back to your car. Unfortunately, I haven't made it back to my car yet, but I made it 28 miles the first time I attempted it. And then the second time, I surprised myself. I made it 33 miles, but I keep running into a problem where by the time I'm at Somo and I'm at that final push, it's starting to get dark.
Right.
And, you know, running in South Mountain is not the greatest thing to do in the dark when you're already tired and exhausted. So
right.
It is my goal this year to go back to South Mountain and do the full Lenape. I always tell myself, I know you can do it. You've run this part of the trail, you know, like a dozen times. You can do it. It's just a point of getting out there and finishing it. But that's really the one thing right now that's nipping at me is finishing the Lenape. More recently, I've hiked the full Platona. I've done it in 5 sections. I'm planning on doing, though, probably this September, a full through hike of the Platona, starting at like 4 a.m. and finishing up later that night. So
you're gonna do that. When are you doing that? This year, you think?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do it in September.
Awesome.
Another big thing coming up, speaking of the Platona, is I registered for a 55-mile,
yes.
55-miler. Shout out to Vanessa Klein.
Yes, shout out the Platona Trail Series. Awesome.
Yeah, she's one of the race directors for that, and I'm really excited for that, which is why I've been trying to, you know, hike the Platona, because I really want to get comfortable with the trail and make sure that for race day, I'm completely set up. A couple, you know, I've done a few other races throughout the year. Like I've done a marathon, you know, like a handful of trail and road half marathons. I've done, since Midnight Squatch Palooza, 2 or 3 other like 6-hour runs. And I was registered to do the Loopy Looper actually this Saturday.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately something came up at work, so I'm not able to do it. And but that's a little bit of a disappointment, because going back to the Midnight Squatchapalooza, when I thought people running 12 hours, I was like, that's crazy. Well, I made that my next 1-year goal to run for 12 hours. So unfortunately, I'm not getting a chance to do that this Saturday, but coming up in the future, I'm gonna try to plan somewhere around my house doing a virtual loopy loop.
That is awesome.
And running the 12 hours. So right now, I'm trying to set up like manageable goals for myself. So coming into this year, I was like, I'm gonna do a 12-hour race. I'm gonna do a 50-mile race. And, you know, I'm just really trying to push my limits right now. But I know I don't have like the craziest, like race history. I haven't done, bad water or, done some like amazing races like some other people have done. But I still feel like my greatest accomplishment is really, taking control of my life and overcoming the huge, like mountain that's been like my anxiety and the depressive, like cycle that I was in for, like 2 years or so. So everything's looking up now at least. And I really have running to thank for changing my life. So
that is awesome, Kelsey. That is so great. And I'm sure, especially now, just, we were chatting before the talk started, how crazy things are at work. Like, how are you managing your work schedule? Has it been hard to stay running, or what does that look like for you?
It's definitely thrown a wrench in my running. Normally, my work schedule, since I do pastries, I come in early in the morning. I kind of do my thing. I don't have to worry about, like tickets or making orders at the time. So, usually I can make my own schedule, kind of work what days I need to. And, but unfortunately, the whole pandemic and COVID really threw a wrench in that. And it's changed a lot of the restaurant industry as well. So right now, it's summer, it's a peak season, but we're not doing, like weddings anymore. So that's, a big thing that I'm not making desserts for. And we're only doing outdoor dining and takeout right now. So I'm not making as many pastries as I normally do. So I've been kind of having to fill in hours on the, with, like the cooks and doing salads and prep and everything. So I've been working a lot of nights, as you can see now. So it's made running a little tougher because I either have to run at night after I get out of work at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, or I have to, wake up early after, commuting home and at like 6 a.m. to try and beat the heat. So it's been a little tough doing training this summer, but a great motivator I have is I'm actually in the virtual race against across 1,000K. So I'm set to finish that in 2 weeks. So I'll be a little early. I was gonna finish it, and I was shooting for the 1,000-mile before I went back to work. But unfortunately, going back to work and doing what I have to do to help my job out and get my hours. I'm not gonna be able to get the 1,000-mile finish that I wanted, but I will finish the 1,000K at least.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible too. Anybody who's doing that event is just it's been so fun to follow. I have a lot of friends, including you, who are doing it, and it sounds like it's been a really cool experience. Especially people too, like they signed up, they're kind of skeptical about it, like not sure how I'm going to stay motivated. But then it seems like everybody's really engaged, and it's become, not necessarily. I mean, I think there is some competitive aspects to it, but more of like an internal drive. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, the Facebook group that they have set up is probably one of the best Facebook groups around. Awesome. Encouraging. Lazarus Lake, who is, a legendary racer, the Balkan Marathon, Big's backyard and everything. He's always posting motivating things, so stories and pictures. So even just being able to talk to like Lazarus Lake right there is a big plus of the race. And
it's pretty cool.
Wisdom and everything. So
totally. So what would you say, if we have people listening now or on the replay who maybe they're going through a tough time? I think personally, I believe everybody at some point in their life is going to struggle with some form of depression, anxiety. I mean, it's probably safe to say right now we all are experiencing it, whether we realize it or not. So what would you say if you had to give advice, maybe like if you had to give yourself advice, like looking back, what would you say, you think?
Well, first thing I want to say is, mental health should be, more normalized in society. It's okay, you know, like everyone thinks about physical health and going to the doctor and everything, and not enough people take into consideration their mental health. And you know, it's there's a whole spectrum of things, and you know, it should be okay for people to say, you know, like I'm struggling right now. I don't think I'm okay, and to be able to go get help. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. It's just like, you know, if you had a torn ACL or something, you know, like you.
Right.
It's, you know, about you know, taking care of yourself as well. But the advice if I can go back in time to, you know, like early 2018 or 2017, would just be to tell myself, take it one step at a time, you
Right.
know, because you can't jump to the top of a hill, because you know that's what it is. It's a series of rolling hills, and some hills, you know, it might be steep or down, and other ones, you know, just a little bump in the road. But I would tell myself, take it one step at a time, and you're not gonna be down for long. Just, you know, try to take control of something little or whatever you can, and it really will change things. Great change happens with small steps.
You gotta put that on a plaque, I think, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? What's the best advice you've been given over the last year or so? We can make it 2 questions, like running advice, and then also like through your struggle with depression and anxiety. I know those are 2 very different questions, but there's probably some overlap in it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, probably the greatest advice I've been giving is, you know, to like normalize mental health, and it's not something to be ashamed of, you know, and it's not something bad to admit. And then running wise, probably to just keep swimming. I know it's, but I was talking to another runner when I was at the Disney World Marathon, actually. I ended up having an anxiety attack in the middle of the race because the sun, as soon as the sun came up, I got real bad heat stroke. I started throwing up. I had anxiety attacks, and you know, the race was becoming a struggle, and I spent 3 miles straight crying during the marathon, and it was a bad time. But I ended up connecting with another runner who was kind of struggling in the race too, and with the heat and everything. And you know, she told me just keep swimming, and we really helped push each other to make sure that we finished the race. You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, definitely, you know, I will never say I'm fully, you know, healed from my depression and anxiety. It's never going to be something that happens. You know, there's always going to be quick, you know, there'll always be pop-ups and flare-ups, but it's about, you know, just keep pushing forward.
Right. That's awesome. So what would you say if you had to pick, again, we'll make it a 2-part question, like, you might have already answered it. What was the hardest running experience you've had? Was it the Disney Marathon? Because that sounds pretty terrible.
Probably the Disney Marathon, because normally when I'm in races, you know, I'm in a good headset, I'm enjoying it, and it's a lot of fun. But definitely having that anxiety attack and spending 3 miles straight, you know, crying in the happiest place on earth is it was definitely the hardest, because I was already physically struggling, but once you put that mental struggle on too. But I mean, I finished. I sat down at the finish line and cried.
Oh, Kels. Well, I guess it's good you can laugh at it now, right?
Oh, it wasn't the rate. It wasn't how I wanted the race to go, especially because I paid so much money.
Yeah.
Do it, but you know what? At the end of the day, I can look back and, you know, say I did it and I made it true. So
Right. And that, it sounds like it was so much more than just a race and finishing it. You were like literally working through some serious stuff in the middle of it. Oh my goodness. What do you think? Could you look back and say if you had a favorite running experience so far? Because you've had some, I mean, just major milestones packed into a very short amount of time, right? I mean, it's like less than 2 years you went from not running at all to ultra,
yeah.
Is there a favorite experience you've had?
I really loved the Squatch surprise last year. So the great thing about this Squatch surprise
this is not a paid advertisement either, I'm just saying.
I know. When I said before, I kind of found my group. Like Sassquad has definitely been a big part of it, and I keep coming back to it. But it falls on my birthday weekend every year, so having that kind of like fun birthday celebration last year was I really love doing the Patona this summer. It's been a real peace of mind. It's in my backyard. Basically, it's 25-minute drive from my house, which is really nice most parts of it. So I really enjoyed that this summer, and just kind of training and running in general.
Right. Man, I really hope Vanessa and her crew are able to have the Batona race. It's in October, right? Like the second weekend in October?
Yeah. I mean, it's a small field, so hopefully they're still able to do it. I'm crossing my fingers, but last year I volunteered, and it was such a well-organized race that I have complete faith that they'll be able to figure out how to safely do it if they're able to do it. So.
Right. Totally. Well, I mean, obviously I run too. I'm just as anxious as everybody else to get back to races, both as a race director and a runner. I know all of us, everyone who's watching, feels the same way. So besides Batona, do you have anything else? I mean, you want to do the through hike, you're signed up for the Batona race in October. Is there anything else kind of brewing in the back of your mind of maybe some bigger goals or like whatever, anything else coming up?
Well, my last goal for this year is to do like a 12-hour race, which at this point looks like it may be a self-supported race. But next year, my goal is to do 100K. Yes. And as long as I survive 100K, eventually I'm gonna go on to do 100-mile races.
Awesome.
But I mean, I definitely want to get out and start doing more longer trails in New Jersey. I want to try to do take like 2 days or so to do the New Jersey part of the AT.
Awesome.
That's on my bucket list of things to do. What was that other one I wanted to do? Oh, finish the Lenape.
Yeah.
Right now, at this point, I'm probably gonna next time that it's organized, or I might just go out myself, I'm gonna take an earlier train than the 6 a.m. get out at the crack of dawn to make sure that I get it done before nightfall.
Right. Well, I was going to say before, the Lenape Trail is cruel in the sense that South Mountain Reservation is the end. And personally, and I know I've talked with other runners, you'd probably agree that's the toughest part. Especially if you're a local runner, you're familiar with it, you get to the start of South Mountain and you think, oh, this is it, it's a home stretch. But there's still another, I think it's 7 or 8 miles, and there's a lot of elevation change. So it's kind of cruel that is, at the end.
Yeah, and it's definitely the whole rockiest part of the trail, which is the part that had me nervous, is kind of running something pretty rocky at night. And we can't forget that the last hill going down. I was like, if I run that hill going down in the dark, I'm going to be rolling down. Also.
That hill, I feel like every time I get there, it's just like a pathetic crawl to try to get down because it's so steep and you're just hurting and your knees are aching, and it's just straight down, but you're so close to the finish. So, all right, real quick, I'm going to just jump in the chat before we do our rapid fire questions, because I did see a couple comments from, let me see, I think there was Michael Steiner. You know Michael. He's in the chat, and he wanted to know the name of your bakery. Or not bakery, I'm sorry. I've been calling it a bakery. I know it's not a bakery, but.
Oh, yeah, because I do bake, you know. But no, I work at Porta in Asbury, Porta Pizza. So right on Kingsley Avenue. I guess I'm giving them a little bit of free advertisement now.
Right. That's right. And I think there might have been one other question. Let me see real quick. I think there are just some comments. Michael says Trail of Tears for the Lenape Trail, which I think it is for all of us. Bailey Lewis, Bailey, she says, way to go, Kelsey. Jana says, Kelsey, you rock. Let's see, and Christina Lude says, Kelsey, I appreciate and admire you sharing your story. More sharing like this helps to normalize mental health struggles. So that is awesome. All right, so if you're in the Facebook group or watching the Facebook group, start dropping your questions in there. I'm going to open up my list of questions for Kelsey. These are fun and goofy, no pressure. So you just want to say the first thing that comes to your mind. If you've been watching before, you know how this works. So as always, our first question, do you believe in Sasquatch and have you ever seen him?
100% believe in Sasquatch. I've been really into kind of like cryptids ever since I was a kid. So hard believer in Sasquatch, Mothman and I haven't seen him yet, but I'm gonna find him. He's out there.
Well, I know in the Batona, that's like Pine Barrens, right? Isn't the devil lives down there, New Jersey Devil, right?
Yeah, there's the, Jersey Devils watering hole.
Yeah.
There's Village down there. So yeah, I think the Jersey Devil is kind of what got me into mythical creatures and knowing that the Jersey Devil is in my backyard growing up. So
love it. Okay, if you had to sing karaoke right now, what song would you choose?
I would probably sing Smelly Cat.
Oh my gosh, yes.
My favorite song to listen to when I run is What Does the Fox Say?
No. But doesn't that get stuck in your head the rest of the day?
I have it on my running playlist 4 separate times. So
oh my goodness.
The playlist, it comes on at least once an hour.
That is amazing.
It pumps me up like no other song.
So that would be your walk-up song if you were ever a ball player.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, that's a good one. Okay, let's see. If your family could choose one word to describe your running, what would they choose?
Crazy, obsessive, insane. I mean, they're really as shocked as most people in my life about how I kind of like made a jump from not running at all to running all these crazy races. So they all think I'm insane for, running at night or running for straight. So
awesome. Favorite movie, all-time favorite movie, if you had to pick one. I think I know the answer.
I mean, that's tough.
Based on the wedding cake topper that you requested from the Squatch shop.
I mean, that's my husband's favorite movie is The Prince Bride. But I mean, it's tough. I'm gonna have to say Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just gonna say that because
that's a good one.
I watched it a million times. Best soundtrack ever.
Definitely.
I think that's kind of like the perfect movie. So
I would have to say that's up there for me as well, especially because of the soundtrack. Most of the soundtrack is on our Sassquad trail running playlist that we have at the races because it's so good. Okay, what is one non-running thing that you have on your bucket list, if you have a bucket list?
I have a bucket list. It's kind of been consumed with running things, but one non-running thing that's on my bucket list is to go to New Zealand. But when I go to New Zealand, what I want to do is, climb the Lord of the Ring mountains and go, White River rafting and of course running. But I really want to do kind of like one all-out crazy like physical trip to New Zealand and just kind of get out.
That sounds incredible. Would your husband be into it as well?
He's not as outdoorsy kind of as me. So if we go, he might kind of hang out at the hotel by the pool while I go crazy stuff.
Awesome. All right. And last question on the rapid fire, and this is very specific to you. What is your two-part favorite pastry to eat and then least favorite pastry to make?
All right. Least favorite pastry to make, hands down, budinos. I make them all the time at work. They're very finicky, little, kind of like a baked custard. It's very annoying to make. I make a ton of them at work. Favorite pastry to eat, I'm probably gonna have to go for like an old-fashioned cannoli.
Yeah.
Maybe, like having that crispy fried shell and, like the cream and cinnamon and chocolate. So
you can't go wrong with a cannoli, especially in Jersey.
Exactly. A ganool. Sorry. I should say ganool while I'm at an Italian restaurant.
Awesome. Okay, we do have, I see, I'm getting the notifications, a bunch of questions in the Facebook group. All right, so let me scroll up to our first one. Is a great one from Bailey. She wants to know how many cats you have and what are their names.
I have 4 cats and I have to put in my 2 dogs too. I can't leave them out. But my cats are Ruby, Batsy, Mabel, and Fidget. And then I have 2 dogs, Ivy and Quinn as well.
Which do you have a favorite?
I said no, but honestly, my cat Ruby, she's kind of like my soulmate.
Love it. And I have to point out your amazing tank top that you have on right now. It's cat and pizza
and
a taco. I mean, what more could you ask for?
3 favorite things. So
I love it. Okay, Jana wants to know if you could run with somebody, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive? That's... I mean, I might just want to do like a marathon with the guy who ran the first marathon.
Oh.
And maybe, I'll hand him some water during it, make sure. I really want him to get that, be able to enjoy that win afterwards. So
yeah, he had a rough experience.
Yeah, we'll make it like a whole trail party for him.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, Elaine Yee says, I don't know if this was answered, but what race or run are you most proud of?
Probably just, accomplishing the Midnight Squatchapalooza, my first 6-hour run. I really surprised myself, and it's kind of been like my catalyst for pushing myself even more into ultra running. So awesome. Probably doing 6-hour race.
Awesome. Okay, next one. Well, Joe Brandine says sheep outnumber people in New Zealand. So I guess it's a fun. And Michael, I'm sorry, I'm gonna mispronounce your name. Michael Moschetta. Where did you study to be a pastry chef?
I am actually self-taught, so I kind of like started out in smaller bakeries and restaurants, and I kind of did a lot of YouTube and like online and in-person classes to kind of teach myself. So I didn't I don't have any like formal pastry education. So just a lot of hard work and, determination.
Yeah. How long have you been at that restaurant in Asbury?
It's coming up to my 1 year anniversary. So, but I think I'll probably be here for a while.
Yeah, you enjoy it, it sounds like?
Yeah, it's a good place. So, I enjoy it. Even though it's a little crazy right now, I enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, how close are you to Mogo's Tacos?
I'm if you go one block down and one block over, you can go to their boardwalk location.
Uh-huh.
And then their actual street location is probably like 0.4 mile run.
Uh-huh.
If I go to like their brick and mortar location in Asbury. Yeah, I'm like a block away from the beach right now. If I actually looked out a front door,
Wow.
I was looking at it. So
That's awesome. Well, I knew that would catch Becca's attention because she loves Mogo's. She first introduced me to Mogo's and she says best tacos ever.
I love Mogo's too. There's been a couple days where I'm like begging my co-workers, like, please go out and get me tacos, please.
Oh, I love it. So good. Okay, I think that about wraps it up. I'm gonna make sure Jana says, let's go eat all the food, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Well, I'm so glad you came on here. I remember very vividly at the midnight Squatchapalooza, because you came by yourself. And I remember you were kind of like a little timid, starting out. And then by the end of it, 6 a.m., we were all hugging. And it was just so awesome. I'm so thankful that you found us on Ultra Sign Up. And you're part of our awesome community. So thank you for sharing your story. This has been incredible. I know you've inspired me, and we had a bunch of people watching on Facebook as well.
So glad. I'm glad it's over. Now I can go back to work and be calm and a whole different person going back into the kitchen.
Yes, totally. So, okay, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We are going to be back here in 2 weeks to hear from Vanessa Klein and Michael on their story of the Vol State 500K, which is going to be Squatch-tastic. So thank you again for tuning in. You can send this link. It's going to be up on our Facebook page. If you jumped in at the end, you can replay from the beginning and share with your friends and tell them to join us at Sassquad Trail Runners. All right, everybody, keep it squatchy.
Woo!